Hi all, welcome to BIAS Academy, Science and Technology audio notes for prelims and mains, Unit 5, Part 6, Chapter 1. The chapter is Forest Resources, Social Forestry, Afforestation and Deforestation. The topics which we're going to cover are India's State Forest Report 2017, Types of Forests, Afforestation and Government Efforts for Afforestation, and then Threats of Deforestation. Next we will see social forestry and the types of social forestry, and then we will discuss about National Forest Policy, and then we will look at Draft National Forest Policy 2018, and finally we will look at the strategy to conserve forests. So let's start with the first topic of the day, that is India's State Forest Report 2017, or it is also called as ISFR. Okay. India's State Forest Report 2017 of the Environment Ministry reveals that the overall green cover, what is green cover? That is the forest and the tree cover of the country is at 8,02,088 square kilometers. So as per the Environment Ministry, the forest green cover is at 8,02,088 square kilometers. India's forest cover increased by 6,778 square kilometers. That is 6,778 square kilometers. There is an increase over the last 2 years, with Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Odisha, Telangana increasing their green footprint. During the period, though, there is a worrying decline in 6 northeastern states, including a shrinkage of 630 square kilometers in eastern Himalayas. So this is a paradox. There is an increase in the southern states and there is a decrease in the northeastern states. With overall green cover, including tree patches outside, recorded forest area reported an incremental 1% increase over the last assessment year in 2015. What is the 1% increase? That is approximately 8,000 square kilometers. The quality of forests remain hotly debated subject even as the satellite monitoring has increased availability of data. Based on the satellite data, subsequent ground truthing has put the total forest cover at 7,08,273 square kilometers, which is at 21.54%. So roughly 22% of the country's geographical area is under forest. How do we know it? Based on the satellite data. Based on the density. Okay, what is density? Here, canopy covering branches and foliage formed by crown of the trees. Foliage is leaves. So that is density. Based on the density, forest cover is divided into very dense, moderately dense and open forests. The very dense forest cover has increased over the last assessment of 2015, but moderately dense category reported a decline, a sign which environmentalists consider quite worrying. So very dense forest cover has increased, but moderately dense category report decline. You think and let me know why there is a decline in the moderately dense category of the forest. Okay, as per the updated ISFR, the number of districts for its assessment from 589 to 633 were increased. The ISFR 2017 shows that about 40% of the country's forest cover is present in 9 large continuous patches of a size of 10,000 square kilometers or more. So it is in patches. It also shows that the total mangrove cover stands at 4,921 square kilometers. That is roughly a little bit less than 5,000 kilometers. That is the total mangrove cover. And it has shown an increase of 881 square kilometers. All the 12 mangrove states have shown a positive change in the mangrove cover. So there is an increase in all the 12 mangrove states as compared to the last assessment. Mangrove ecosystem is rich in biodiversity and provides a number of ecological services. The report showed that forest cover in 6 northeastern states, that is Mizoram, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Meghalaya and Sikkim, there is a decrease in the forest cover. Experts believe forests in eastern Himalayas are rich in forest carbon and decline in forest cover in the region could have been avoided. So experts believe that they are rich in forest carbon and decline could have been avoided. This area, that is especially the eastern hills or the northeastern states, this area reported a net loss of 630 square kilometers. How much? 630 square kilometers loss of a pristine forest. You must visit Northeast whenever possible. It is such, the states are wonderful and they are pristine and pure. Okay, coming back to the topic, the India State of Forest Report 2017 is the 15th such report in the series. The report, however, for the first time contains information on a decadal change in water bodies in the forest during 2005 and 15. So, for the first time, speaking about the background, 15th report is the Indian State of Forest Report 2017, that is 15th report. But in this report, for the first time, it contains information on decadal change, that is 10-year change in water bodies in forests. So they have measured the water bodies in the forest as well. Forest fires and production of timber from outside forests, state-wise carbon stock in different forest types and density classes were all included for the first time in the report. The report notes that there was an increase of 2,647 square kilometers in the extent of water bodies. So there is an increase in water bodies up to a square kilometers of 2,647 square kilometers increase in water bodies when over a decade, that is from 2005 to 2015. It has been shown in all states and union territories except Arunachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. Okay, the report shows that overall the extent of water bodies has increased from 14,500 square kilometers to 17,156 square kilometers in 2015. In Maharashtra, it is around 432 square kilometers, Gujarat 428 square kilometers, Madhya Pradesh 389 square kilometers. So these are the top 3 states reporting to maximum increase in areas of water bodies including lakes and wetlands. So in one line you have to remember that there is an increase of the water bodies inside the forest. How much? You comment, I have told it roughly around, you remember 630 to 650 square kilometers. Okay. Oh, let's go to the next topic, that is various types of forests. India has a diverse range of forests ranging from rainforests of Kerala in the south to the alpine pastures of Ladakh in the north and deserts of Rajasthan in the west to the evergreen forests in the northeast. Climate, soil type, topography and elevation are main factors that determine the type of forest. What are the main factors that determine the type of forest? Climate, soil type, topography, elevation are the main factors. Okay, forests are classified according to their nature and composition of the type of climate in which they thrive and its relationship with the surrounding environment. Forests can be divided into 6 broad types with a number of subtypes. There are 6 broad types, each type has a subtype. So let's look at the 6 broad types. One is moist tropical forest. Second, dry tropical forest. Third, montane subtropical forest. 4, montane temperate forest. Montane, I'll spell it for you, MONTANE. 5, subalpine, ALPINE, subalpine forest. 6th broad category of forest is alpine, ALPINE. So now let's look at first one, that is moist tropical forest. It has subtypes. There are 4 subtypes under moist tropical forest. One is wet evergreen. Second is semi-evergreen. Third is moist deciduous. Fourth is littoral and swamp. Littoral, LITTORAL. Okay. Let's see wet evergreen forests. Wet evergreen forests are found in south along the Western Ghats and Andaman Nicobar Islands, all along the northeastern region as well. The more common trees that are found here are jackfruit, betel nut, jamun, mango, hollock. The trees in this forest form a tier pattern, that is, shrubs cover the layer closer to the ground, followed by short structured trees and then tall variety of trees. So it is a tier 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier. It's in a tiered model. Which one? Wet evergreen forest. Beautiful ferns of various colors and different varieties of orchids grow on the trunks of these trees. So this is about wet evergreen forest, which is the first subtype under moist tropical forest. So let's look at the next subtype, that is semi-evergreen. Semi-evergreen forests are found in Western Ghats, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Eastern Himalayas. Such forests have a mixture of wet evergreen and moist deciduous trees. The forest is dense and is filled with large variety of trees of both types. The third subtype is moist deciduous. Subtype of which one? Moist tropical forest has 4 subtypes: wet evergreen, semi-evergreen, moist deciduous, and littoral and swamp. So we have discussed wet evergreen and semi-evergreen. Now we are discussing a third subtype, that is moist deciduous. These are found throughout India except in western and northwestern regions. The trees have broad trunks, tall, and have branching trunks, and the roots to hold them are firmly in the ground. Some of the taller trees shed their leaves in dry season. There is a layer of shorter trees and evergreen shrubs in the undergrowth. These forests are dominated by sal, teak, along with mango, bamboo, and rosewood. Okay, let's look at the fourth subtype under moist tropical forest, that is littoral, Littoral, and swamp, SWAMP. These are found along Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the delta area of Ganga and Brahmaputra. It consists mainly of whistling pines, mangrove dates, palms, bulletwood. They have roots that consist of soft tissue so that the plant can breathe in the water. So this is important. The plants can breathe in the water. Okay. Now let's go to the second type, that is dry tropical forest. This has how many subtypes? 3 subtypes. First one is dry deciduous forest. Second one is thorn. Third one is dry evergreen. Let's look at the dry deciduous forest, which is the first type under dry tropical forest. So these dry deciduous forests are found throughout the northern part of the country. Where? Northern part of the country except northeast. So it's not found in northeast, it is only found in northern part of the country. It is also found in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu little bit. The canopy of these trees do not normally exceed 25 meters. The common trees are sal and a variety of acacia and bamboo. The second subtype is thorn. We are talking about dry tropical forests, under which we have seen dry deciduous forest, and second subtype is thorny forest. These are found in areas with black soil, north, west, central and south India. Trees do not grow beyond 10 meters. Examples are spurge, caper, cactus are typical to this region. Which one? Cactus, spurge, caper, CAPER, caper. Okay, the third subtype is dry evergreen. Dry evergreens are found along Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka coast. It is mainly hard-leaved evergreen trees with fragrant flowers. So these dry evergreen forests have fragrant flowers. Where are they? In Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka coast. There are also few deciduous trees as well in this dry evergreen forest. So now let's go to the third type of forest, that is montane subtropical forest. How many subtypes it has? It has 3. What are they? Broad-leaved, second is pine, third is dry evergreen. Okay, the montane subtropical forest, under which we are talking about the first subtype, broad-leaved. These are found in eastern Himalayas and western Ghats along the Silent Valley. Where is Silent Valley? It's mostly in Kerala. There is a marked difference in the form of vegetation in the two areas. In Silent Valley, poon spar, cinnamon, rhododendron and fragrant grass are predominant. In eastern Himalayas, the flora has been badly affected by shifting cultivation and forest fires. These wet forests consist mainly of evergreen trees with sprinkling of deciduous here and there. There are oak, alder, chestnut, birch, cherry trees. There are a large variety of orchids, bamboo and creepers. So this is about the broad-leaved subtype under montane subtropical forests. Let's go to the second category under montane subtropical forests, that is pine. These, where are they found? They are found in steep, dry slopes of Shivalik hills, steep, dry slopes of western and central Himalayas, Khasi, Naga, Manipur hills, all these hills. These trees predominantly found in the areas are cher, oak, rhododendron, pine. In the lower regions, sal, sandan, amla and labrum are found. Let's go to the third subtype under montane subtropical forests. The third subtype is dry evergreen forests, normally have prolonged hot and dry seasons and a cold winter. Summers are hot here and winters are cold. In these regions, you find dry evergreen montane subtropical forests. In general, evergreen trees with shining leaves that have varnished look. So, what is varnish? It is painted to to furniture. The trees which are grown in this dry evergreen have a shiny look and like pomegranate, olive, oleander. These forests are found in Shivalik hills and foothills of Himalayas up to a height of 1000 meters. Okay, let's go to the fourth type of forest, that is montane temperate forest. It also has three subtypes. One is wet, moist and third one is dry. So let's look at the wet montane temperate forests. They occur in north and south. In north, it is found in the region to the east of Nepal into Arunachal Pradesh at a height of 1800 to 3000 meters, receiving a minimum rainfall of 2000 mm. In south, it is found in the parts of Nilgiri hills, the higher reaches of Kerala. The forests in the northern region are denser in the south. This is because over the time, original trees have been replaced by fast growing varieties such as eucalyptus, rhododendrons and a variety of ground flora can also be found here. In north, there are three layers of forest. The higher layer has mainly coniferous, middle layer has deciduous trees, deciduous such as oak, and the lowest layers is covered by rhododendron and champa. Okay, let's look at the second subtype, that is moist montane temperate forest. This type spreads from western Himalayas to the eastern Himalayas. The trees found in the western section are broad-leaved like oak, brown oak, walnut, rhododendron, etc. In the eastern Himalayas, the rainfall is much heavier and therefore the vegetation is also more lush and dense. There are a large variety of broad-leaved trees, ferns and bamboo. Coniferous trees are also found here, some of the varieties being one are found here in the south. Third one is dry montane temperate forest. This type is found mainly in Lahul, Kinnaur, Sikkim and other parts of Himalayas. Kinnaur I'll spell Kinnnaur, Lahul Lahul and then Sikkim. Okay, here we find dry montane temperate forests. They are predominantly coniferous trees that are not too tall, along with broad-leaved trees such as oak, maple and ash. At higher elevation, fir, juniper, deodar and chilgoza can be found. These are the trees which can be found. Okay, let's go to the next type, that is fifth one, that is subalpine. Till now we have discussed four types of forest. One is moist tropical forest, second one is dry tropical forest, third one is montane subtropical forest, fourth one is montane temperate forest, fifth one we are discussing subalpine forest. Subalpine forests extend from Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh between 2900 to 3500 meters. In western Himalayas, the vegetation mainly consists of juniper, rhododendron, willow and blackcurrant. In the eastern parts, red fir, black juniper, birch, larch are the common type of trees. Due to heavy rainfall and high humidity, the timberline in this part is higher than the west. Rhododendrons of many species cover the hills in these two parts. Okay, now let's go to the next type, that is the last one, that is alpine type. It has two subtypes, one is moist alpine and the second one is dry alpine. Moist alpines are found all along Himalayas on the higher hills near Myanmar border, that is Burma border. It has a low scrub, dense evergreen forest, consists mainly of rhododendron and birch, mosses, ferns cover the ground in patches. This region receives heavy snowfall. Okay. The second subtype is dry alpine. Where are they found? They are found 3000 meters to about 4900 meters. Dwarf plants predominate, mainly the black juniper and the drooping juniper, honeysuckle and willow. So these are all the 6 types of. So let's recap the types of forest. First one is moist tropical forest, second one is dry tropical forest, third one is montane subtropical forest, fourth one is montane temperate forest, fifth one is subalpine forest, and sixth one is alpine forest. Under moist tropical forest, there are 4 types, 4 subtypes. The subtypes are wet evergreen, semi-evergreen, moist deciduous, littoral and swamp. And under dry tropical forest, there are 3 subtypes, that is dry deciduous forest, thorns, dry evergreen forest. Next is montane subtropical forest, under which there are 3 subtypes. The first one is broadleaved, second one is pine, third one is evergreen, dry evergreen. Next, montane temperate forest has 3 subtypes, that is wet, moist and dry. Next we have seen subalpine, and 6th type of forest is alpine, ALPINE. It has how many types? 2 types, that is moist alpine and second one is dry alpine. Okay, these are the types of forests. So now let's look at afforestation and the efforts by the government of India in promoting afforestation as well. Afforestation is the process of planting trees or sowing seeds in barren land devoid of any trees to create a forest. So in order to create a forest, in a barren land, when we plant trees or sow seeds, that is called afforestation. The term should not be confused with reforestation. Afforestation is not reforestation, you have to remember that, which is the process of specifically planting native trees into the forest that has decreasing number of trees. In afforestation, you will plant any variety, any type of a plant, whereas in reforestation, for example, a particular species, for example, acacia or subabul, that is declining and you replant the same type of variety. For example, acacia is declining, you are planting or sowing acacia, that is called reforestation. Afforestation. Afforestation, Afforestation. Okay. While reforestation is increasing the number of trees of an existing forest, afforestation is the creation of a new forest. Okay. The Green India Mission, that is GIM, has been promised rupees 46,000 crores for increasing the forestry cover on a 5 million hectares of the non-forest lands, and also promised to improve the quality of forest cover on another 5 million hectares. So this is the Green India Mission. Total target is 10 million hectares, so of which 5 million hectares they are going to increase the forest cover, and the second one is they are going to increase 5 million hectares of forest cover in non-forest lands. Okay. This Green India Mission is expected to increase forest-based livelihood incomes of about 3 million households. How many households? 3 million. It will also enhance annual carbon dioxide CO2 sequestration. Sequestration, I'll spell it SEQUESTRATION. What is sequestration? You reply in the comments below. By this carbon dioxide sequestration, 50 to 60 million tons can be sequestered by 2020. Operational since 2014. Which one? The GIM, that is Green India Mission, is operational since 2014. The mission has already released around 126 crores to 7 states. Okay. India is also sitting on a huge opportunity to raise finance for forests through the United Nations reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation, that is in short REDD+. I'll repeat, United Nations reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation, that is called REDD+. It's a mechanism under which the International Climate Change Framework, in which developing countries would be funded. So it will simply put, they'll provide funds to the developing countries for increasing the forest cover. The Parliament passed the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act in 2016. In short, it is called CAT 2016 or Compensatory CAF or Compensatory Afforestation Fund 2016, which will unlock rupees 42,000 crores for afforestation programs. The aim of this project is to increase India's forest cover from 21.3% to a total of 33%. How much percent? To increase to 33%. Where is it? 21.3%. Okay. Most importantly, this would help us to develop a carbon sink of 2.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide as indicated to our intended nationally determined contributions. These are INDCs. Okay. We have seen REDD+, and then we have seen compensatory afforestation, and now we will study National Afforestation Program, that is NAP. It is being implemented for afforestation of degraded forest lands. Okay. Green India Mission aims to improving the quality of forest cover in forest covers. Besides, cross-sectoral activities on landscape basis. An area of about 21 lakh hectares has been approved for the new afforestation with an investment of around rupees 3,700 crore under NAP. What is NAP? National Afforestation Program. When was it started? In 2000. Okay. Under the GIM, Green India Mission, an amount of rupees 174 crore has been released since 2011 and 12 for preparing a perspective plan. Okay. The fund under the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority. What is it? CAMPA, C-A-M-P-A, Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority, is also used in plantation activity, including compensatory afforestation, to give massive thrust to the afforestation activity in the country. Tree plantation or afforestation activities are taken up cross-sectorally by various departments, NGOs, civil society, corporates, etc. under various central sponsored schemes and under different state plans or non-planned schemes, including externally aided projects involving large-scale participation of people and other social organizations. Okay, so now let's go to the next topic, that is importance of forests to the poor and indigenous community, or they can ask as threats of deforestation. Threat of deforestation in India. Okay, forest goods and services once thought to be abundant are now a scarce resource. True. This affects not only half of the world's land-based species of plants and animals, but also more than 1 billion people that are dependent on forests for livelihood. Nearly 275 million poor people in India, that is more than 1/5 of the population. That is 275 poor people in India, especially tribal communities, depend on forests for subsistence and livelihoods. Almost 50% of the flood or the food requirements by forest dwellers are provided by these forests. Many of these communities already suffer from limited access to health, limited access to education, and benefit little from the government and economic development programs. Destroying forests has devastating consequences for them. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, the world is losing around 130,000 square kilometers of forest cover every day. Every day, how much forest we are losing? 130,000 square kilometers. Who said this? Worldwide Fund for Nature. Okay. Another study by Center for Global Development shows that if the loss of vegetation continues unabated at this rate, forest covering an area nearly the size of India will be destroyed by 2050. If this goes without any protection or any afforestation or reforestation measures, the world and we will lose a forest cover of the size of India by 2050. This rapid loss of natural forest across the world is increasingly concerning, right? The situation in India is no different. India has been trying to achieve the target to keep 33% of its geographical area under forest cover for decades, but the 2017 State of Forest report shows that is still struggling to get above 22%. Still we are at 21.34%, but we are struggling to reach 33%. It has been mentioned in the ISR, forest report as well. India has been seen rapid deforestation in the recent years, primarily due to the focus on economic development. According to the government, data of 14,000 square kilometers of forest were cleared to accommodate 23,716 industrial projects in the last 30 years. Okay. Now let's look at forestry. What is social forestry? We'll also study the different types of social forestry in India. Social forestry is a term applied to tree planting or natural forest management designed to meet the forestry related basic needs of rural people or the community people. Social forestry has been defined as an encompassing any situation which is intimately involves local people in forestry or forest related activity for the direct benefit of those people. It can be defined as the involvement of different sectors of the society in planning, management and protection of forests. So this is social forestry. This term was used in the year 1976 by National Commission on Agriculture. When was used? It was used in 1976. By whom? National Commission of Agriculture. Okay. Social forestry's main aim or the aim of the commission was to use land of areas surrounding urban settlements that have been deforested by human activities. The main aim is to use this urban settlements. The government encouraged the participation of public to cultivate surrounding land to meet the needs for food, fodder and fuel. Social forestry makes use of fallow land, unused land, so that deeper forests that have been safeguarded so far are saved from the exploitation. It involves the raising of fast growing trees to meet the needs of the fuel wood fodder. The village panchayats undertake this task with the help of local population to plant trees on common lands like borders of canals, along the roads, on wastelands. People benefit from such resources. Especially they benefit from resource sharing, and thus pressure on natural resources is reduced. Good. There are different types of social forestry. What are they? One is farm forestry, second one is agroforestry, third one is extension forestry, fourth one is community forestry, fifth one is scientific forestry. Okay, let's look at farm forestry. The method of growing trees in private land for the purpose of timber and afforestation is called farm forestry. Trees are grown in your farmland or a private land, that is farm forestry. This type of forestry is both beneficial for the environment on one hand and the community on the other hand. Farmer or the community will have extra income, whereas the environment can get benefit due to decreased soil erosion and increased groundwater table. Okay, the second type of social forestry, that is agroforestry. What is it? Agroforestry. This method of combining cultivation of crops with tree growings or growing trees with agriculture is called agroforestry. This will result in the production of agricultural produce along with tree products on a commercial basis. This method also increases the agri biodiversity along with the tree biodiversity. Third social type of social forestry is extension forestry. This method of planting trees on the sides of roads, on the sides of canals, on the sides of railway tracks, as well as a tree planting on the wastelands is called extension forestry. You extend your forestries. That is extension forestry. This type of extension forestry on wastelands will improve the common property resources and is useful for the rural poor as well. The fourth type of social forestry is community forestry. Okay, this is also called a village level forestry activity implemented on the community land with the participation of local population. This type of forestry results in increased community sustainable development and skill sharing of rural people, or skill training of the rural people. This is community forestry. The forest being raised in a community land, and the community also takes the responsibility in planning, management and protection. Fifth type of social forestry is scientific forestry. The scientific forestry involves silviculture, the method of raising economically useful timber and especially timber yielding plants. The silviculture has environmental benefits like preventing afforestation, soil erosion and increasing the production per unit area and providing raw materials for the forest based industries. The scientific forestry involves silviculture, the method of raising economically useful timber yielding plants. Silviculture has environmental benefits like preventing afforestation, soil erosion, increasing the production per unit area, and providing raw materials for forest-based industries. This also increases employment and provides an employment generation in rural areas. So we have discussed the social forestry and the types of social forestry, that is farm forestry, agroforestry, extension forestry, community forestry, scientific forestry. So now let's go to the next topic, that is National Forest Policy. So India has a national forest policy since or before independence, that is in 1894, and then post independence in 1952 the forest policy was revised, and it was revised for the second time in 1988. The principal aim of the national forest policy is to ensure environmental stability and maintenance of ecological balance, including atmospheric equilibrium, which is vital for sustenance of all life forms, human and animal and plants. The derivation of direct economic benefit must be subordinated to the principal aim. Okay, the main aim is maintenance of ecological balance, environmental stability, ensure atmospheric equilibrium is maintained. Okay, the basic objectives of national forest policies are, let's look at point wise. We'll discuss 8 points. The first point is maintenance of environmental stability through preservation and restoration of the ecological balance that has been adversely disturbed by serious depletion of forests of the country. Second point, conservation of natural heritage of the country by preserving the remaining natural forests with the vast variety of flora and fauna. Third, checking soil erosion and denudation in the catchment areas of rivers, lakes, reservoirs, and water conservation for mitigation of floods and droughts, and also the retardation of siltation of reservoirs. Fourth one, checking the extension of sand dunes in the desert areas of the Rajasthan along the coastal tracts. The checking is stopping the extension of sand dunes. Fifth point, increasing substantially the forest cover or the tree cover in the country through massive afforestation and social forestry programs, especially on all denuded, degraded and unproductive lands. 6. Meeting the requirements of fuel wood, fodder, minor forest produce, that is MFP, minus forest produce, and small timber of the rural and tribal populations. So providing these requirements. 7th point, increasing the productivity of forests to meet essential national needs and encouraging efficient utilization of forest produce and maximizing substitution of the wood. 8th point, creating a massive people movement with involvement of women for achieving these objectives and to minimize pressure on existing forests. Okay, now let's look at the draft policy of 2018. What does the draft policy discuss about? Okay, the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has framed a new draft policy, that is National Forest Policy 2018, which proposes climate change mitigation through sustainable forest management. What does it propose? Climate change mitigation, how? Through sustainable forest management. Okay, let's look at the objectives of this draft National Forest Policy 2018. First objective is maintenance of environmental stability and conservation of biodiversity through preservation and conservation of natural forests. Second objective, reverse the degradation of forests, taking up rehabilitation without compromising its natural profile. Third objective, improvement of livelihoods of the people based on sustainable use of ecosystems. Fourth, contribute towards achieving forestry related nationally determined contribution targets of the country. Fifth objective, checking denudation and soil erosion in the catchments of rivers, wetlands through integrated watershed management techniques and practices. Sixth objective, maintenance of health of the forest vegetation and maintenance of health of forest soils, augmenting water supplies through recharge of underground water, recharging underground aquifers, regulation of surface water flows. Seventh objective, safeguard forest land by exercising strict restraint on diversion of non-forestry purposes and strict oversight on compliance of conditions. Eighth objective, increasing sustainably the forest cover in the country through afforestation, reforestation programs, especially on all denuded and degraded forest lands and areas outside the forest. 9. Or the ninth objective, manage protected areas and other wildlife rich areas with primary objective of biodiversity conservation and for enriching other ecosystem services. So 10th objective of draft national forest policy, conserve and sustainably manage mountain forests to ensure continuous flow of ecosystem services including watershed, biodiversity, cultural and spiritual services to both upstream and downstream population. 11th objective, factor green accounting, valuation of ecosystem services and climate change concerns adequately into planning and management of all forests, management of all protected areas and other ecosystems. 12th objective, increase substantially the tree cover outside forests by incentivizing agroforestry and farm forestry, facilitating assured returns with enabling regulation and by promoting the use of wood products. 13th objective, integrate climate change mitigation and adaptation measures in forest management through the mechanism of REDD+. What is REDD+? REDD+, reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. I'll repeat, REDD+ is reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation plus. Okay, what does it aim at to? It aims to reduce the climate or minimize the climate change. Fourth objective of National Forest Policy 2018, which is a draft policy. So not the fourth, but the 14th objective is incentivize substantially in community managed, community owned private forests and creating a sustained people's movement for achieving these objectives. 15th objective is managing and expanding green spaces in urban and peri-urban areas to enhance citizens' well-being. 16th objective, ensure effective translation of this policy into action by establishing credible measuring, monitoring and evaluation framework and ensuring good governance, providing commensurate financial support and developing an implementation framework with periodic review. So these are the objectives of the draft National Forest Policy 2018. Let's recap the keywords. Maintenance, first one is maintenance of environmental stability. Second one is reverse the degradation of forests. Third one is improvement of livelihoods. Fourth one is contribute for INDCs. Fifth is check soil erosion and denudation. 6, maintenance of health of forest. 7, safeguard forest lands. 8, reforestation and afforestation programs. 9, biodiversity conservation. 10, manage mountain forests. 11, green accounting. 12th objective, increase forest cover. 13th, adaptation measures and climate mitigation measures through REDD+, REDD+, that is reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation plus. 14th objective, build a community managed forest. 15th objective, expand green spaces. 16th, ensure effective implementing, monitoring, evaluation and measuring. Okay, now let's go to the next topic, that is last one, that is strategy to conserve our forests. Let's look at 6 strategies to increase our forest cover from 23% or 21% as per satellite data to 33%. Let's look at the first one, that is implementation of multi-stakeholder partnerships involving forest department, local communities and investors with clearly defined obligations and entitlements for such partners, and also following good governance principles to derive environmental livelihood and financial benefits. This is the first strategy. Second one, rationalization of restrictions on cultivation of forest species outside notified areas. So rationalize the restriction of cultivation of forest species. Third strategy, enabling farmers to undertake social and farm forestry where their returns are more favorable than cropping. Fourth strategy, universalization of joint forestry management system throughout the country. Fifth strategy, formulating an appropriate methodology for reckoning and restoring the environmental values of forests which are unavoidably diverted to other uses. Sixth strategy, giving legal recognition of traditional rights of forest dwelling tribes and provide long-term incentives to the tribals to conserve the forests. So these are the strategies. Okay, let's recap the entire lecture. We have started with India's State Forest Report, and this report said there is a decline in the forest cover in the northeastern states, and there is an increase in the forest cover in southern India. Overall, there is a slight increase, that is at 22%. The aim is to have 33% forest cover of the total geographical area of India. And then we have seen forest types. After that, we have discussed afforestation and the government efforts for afforestation and the threats to biodiversity. Next, we have seen social forestry and the types of social forestry. Under the types of social forestry, we have seen farm forestry, agroforestry, extension forestry, community forestry, scientific forestry. Next, we have seen or discussed about national forest policy. We had one before independence. After that, it was revised twice. And then we also have discussed about the draft National Forest Policy 2018. And finally, we discussed about the strategies to conserve forests. Okay, with this, we'll end our today's lecture. Thank you for listening. If you have any doubts or queries or need any help, you can mail us to biasacademy@gmail.com. Have a great day.